So I'm getting ready to do the 50-hour maintenance on my LX2610, and so I'm reading through my manual and preparing to do that. And I know one of the things I'm going to have to do is to check the torque rating on my lug nuts on the wheels. I probably should have done it already, but I haven't. So in my preparation for doing my maintenance, I go in my toolbox, pull out my trusty torque wrench, and I'm prepared to get started. Well, I open up my owner's manual to page 119, and I find out that the rear bolts on my tractor need to be torqued to a rating between 145 and 166 foot-pounds. That's way beyond what my little 3/8 inch torque wrench can do. So what did I do? I bought a new torque wrench. Let's look at it. All right, let's get started with the unboxing. I will tell you that right off the bat, I'm not particularly impressed with the way that this is packaged. I mean, assuming that a torque wrench is a semi-delicate piece of equipment, you would think that maybe there should be some padding in this box, but there is none. But I don't see any signs of real trauma. So let's see, what have I got here? This is an eTORK 1/2 inch digital torque wrench. I bought this on Amazon. There are certainly some that are more expensive. The list price on this on Amazon was $119.95, but there was 20% off, which made it $95.95. Let's see here. Okay, it has a certificate of calibration. That's nice to see for whatever it's worth for something you buy on Amazon. I can tell you that this thing had, I think, nearly 600 reviews. I'll check that. But it was 4.7 out of 5 stars, so pretty good stuff. Let's see here. Well, it's pretty heavy. This does have 2 batteries in it. They're the little tiny batteries. They're LR44s. Takes 2. Those are the kind of, I think they're about, hearing aid battery size. But they are included. I guess I should read the instructions to see how this works. Oh, there we go. Why don't I read that? Pull. I guess that's gonna let me turn it on now. There we go. There is a plastic film covering the display here that has writing on it. Sometimes I just leave that stuff on there, but yep, this will be edited. There we go. I was worried there for a minute. All right. Here is my new one, just for reference. This was the one that I had planned on using today, but not going to work. All right, some basic information on this. It is a eTORK. The model number is EC32350. According to the specs, it weighs in at about 4 3/4 pounds. It's 23 1/4 inches long by 2 by 1 1/2, give or take. I'm not exactly sure how that applies, but 24 inches long, roughly. It is made in China. It's made out of alloy steel and plastic. And this is supposed to measure between 25 and 250 foot-pounds of torque. It measures in foot-pounds, Newton meters, inch-pounds, and kilogram centimeters. I don't know if I'm saying that right or not. Okay, they talk about the easy-to-read backlit display. Hopefully you can see that here on camera. I've turned the light down a little bit. So there you see we are displaying in foot-pounds. If I push the little button here, it changes to inch-pounds, Newton meters, and kilogram centimeters. I should be able to figure out how to say that properly, shouldn't I? Back to foot-pounds. And I just push and hold that, and that backlit display goes off. Hold it, back on. That's pretty nice. One of the other things they talk about is the ergonomic grip and the ease at which you can adjust this thing. As far as the ergonomic grip, I'd say it's fine. This would be nice if it was a little bit more rubberized. That's basically just kind of hard plastic, but it does have a good grip. To adjust it, it has a locking knob right here. You pull it out, and then you can adjust your digital setting. I guess you can see that changing right there. So we'd go to, let's call it 60 foot-pounds. Oh, too far. Right to, oh. A little touchy. There we go. And then you push that into lock. Now when it locked, it jumped at, it's 1/10 of a foot-pound off, but, for all intents and purposes, I think that would be fine. And that is easy to move. It's certainly easier to move than my old style one that I've got here, which requires you to change your lock and then twist this handle over and over and over. That can be a bit of a pain, and it's really kind of hard to figure out. So, yeah, as far as the adjustment, I give that thumbs up. All right, so just a few more things that they say about this torque wrench according to their own promotional materials. One of the things they talk about is this will measure in both directions. There is an adjustment on the back, so you can click back and forth. You can either then measure torque clockwise or counterclockwise. That could be handy. They claim accuracy of plus or minus 3%, and they specify doing that clockwise. I guess that's how it's measured when they calibrate it. And it's tested at the factory. And there is a 45 tooth ratchet in the head, and the thought being that with that many teeth, it will function in tighter areas better than fewer teeth. Fewer teeth meaning you've got to click it further for it to actually, function. So we'll see. What I'm going to do now is go over here and get busy on my 50-hour maintenance on my tractor, which is why I have this. And I will report back how this thing's performed and what I think of it. Well guys, I'm done with the service on the tractor, and so I've had a chance to use this new torque wrench quite a bit. I had to tighten up the lug nuts on the front and the rear tires. There's a bunch of bolts underneath for the loader frame that the torque needs to be checked on. And so this has gotten a good workout for its first usage, and I don't really have anything bad to say about it. I'm pretty pleased with it. During the course of the service, I used both torque wrenches. I used my old one, which only goes up to, I think, 75 foot-pounds. So for a few of the bolts that were low torque settings, this was fine, and it helps to get in the little tight spaces. This one obviously is longer because you're pulling more weight on it and you need that leverage, but it worked great. One of the things I don't think I mentioned when I talked about this before was that this is a digital torque wrench. Got to turn my power off. It is a digital torque wrench. However, it is a click style wrench. So some of the nicer high-end digital wrenches will emit a tone when you get to the torque setting. This doesn't do that. It has a click on it just like this one does, but that is fine. What I can tell you is that the click is positive. I mean, there's no mush to it. When you reach that point, it's a good solid click. You know you're there. And yeah, so I have no complaints. I'm very pleased. It was not that expensive, and I'm going to get a lot of use out of this in the future, I think. So I'm going to leave a link in the section below in case you want to find this on Amazon. And thumbs up for me. That's going to wrap it up. As always, I appreciate you being here. I hope we see you next time.